Hello guys, and welcome to another video from Oscar Cooper. I hope you are all well. We are going back to our roots with the channel today. We're going back to couch co-op and split screen, and of course I've got a bunch of 5 for you that I've been playing to death recently. First of all, we've got Gang Beasts. Gang Beasts is from Double Fine. Double Fine have made a whole bunch of games, nothing like this though, and if you're a fan of sort of YouTubers and the internet, or even streamers, you may well have seen this game already. It's a very simple premise. Basically, there's a bunch of you on a high building or some sort of apparatus or even some sort of death-defying laboratory where you're basically competing with each other to knock them off, to throw them or just cast them down. It's quite funny. The ragdoll physics are absolutely awesome. This game has made a big name for itself in the industry because it's very unique. It is 4-player. And of course it's online. You can go online with the 4 players, you can play it just with 2 players, just with 1 players, but as you can see there's a load of button combinations, one of which is grab, the other one is headbutt. You can actually punch and pull these people around and actually manage to throw them over the edge. It is very satisfying, it makes a lot of people laugh. It's a very goofy game. Personally, it runs its sort of time with me quite quickly. I mean, I think if there's 4 of you and you're all around the TV and there's beers and you know, hilarities will obviously ensue, but it's not a huge wealth of content, but it does actually make you laugh quite a lot. One of the things I enjoy is going online with someone on local co-op. So basically you can have a team of people, then you can go against the other guys, and the costumes are good, the level of customization is really cool, and just the innovative ways that people can actually die is really funny. There's no gore, there's no blood. It's not a game that it's gonna, you know, upset any children. If anything, it's probably gonna make them laugh. I mean, it's a little bit violent, but just look at the weirdness that's going on here. Everyone's waddling around. There's quite a lot of timing involved. Once you've got hold of someone, then you need to sort of drag them over to the edge. And I think props to the developers for just choosing some seriously weird locations for this game as well. This is an elevator scene. You can actually jump from one elevator to another. It's very crowded. There's no particular technique or science to this game. I think getting good at it involves getting your head around how it actually works, but it's very good. It's a 4-player couch co-op game, and of course online, and of course you can play it with 2 people, and of course not extortionate and available on the PlayStation networks. Also a PC game, and I think it's made a good name for Double Fine. They've been a bit quiet lately, but this was just, it made such a huge splash. Absolutely awesome. Gang Beasts. Yeah, it's Little Big Planet 3, and again, I think we got this free, didn't we? Don't quote me, but yeah, I think it did come out free, and this is a very high production game. Boasts up to 4-player, local co-op, and of course drop in, drop out, and of course you can have randoms come and join you online. Now there's a very big campaign, single player and co-op campaign already made within the game itself. Now if you don't know the premise of Little Big Planet, basically it's like a platformer's construction kit, and of course the developers are these awesome people that have just taken innovation by the horns and just given you the most amount of customization you could possibly ever want from a platformer. It's got a really cool level of detail when it comes to the in-game furniture and the environments, and just some weird stuff, and of course unlocking outfits, unlocking stickers, pausing at any time to change the way you look. Adding your touch to each level is a big selling point for the series, and I miss Stephen Fry actually. I think he's on the second one. The narrator's okay, but this is just a whole bunch of fun. It's very pretty as well. It looks great, you know. The character modeling is absolutely amazing. There's some really awesome boss fights in here as well. It plays very well as a game that if you don't want to be creative and you don't want to have to muck around or touch anything, then there's a huge amount of campaign to be played here with a mate, you know. And of course there's the ability to just build a level yourself. That's priceless in my eyes. That gives a game so much longevity. I think if you have a map builder in a game, then wow, wow, you know, you've got another 100 hours there. But it's awful fun, looks brilliant. It's a great platformer in its own right, and of course it's you know, a very strong contender for a good co-op platform game. This is up there with like Rayman Legends, those sorts. So love it to bits. Little Big Planet 3, available on the PlayStation Network, quite cheap at the moment. Yes, it's Guacamole, a game that I have been asked about on my previous lists, and thank God I got round to it, because what a brilliant, pleasant surprise, as you can see straight away. Eye-poppingly beautiful visuals. The art style in this game is second to none. Love it. Really, you know, a lot of work went into this. It's almost like a sort of felt cut-out look to it, if you know what I mean. And it's very loud and very colourful and very fast. As you can see here, it is just a platform beat 'em up. But we've actually got 4-player again on this one, and most of these games on this list are actually 4-player. Maybe I should rename the title, but it's just great to see this game working on a PlayStation 4. This is the Turbo Edition, and again, customizables and unlockables are everywhere in this game. I love the premise and characters. It's kind of based in Mexico wrestler / Day of the Dead vibe to it, but don't let that put you off, because you know, it's not it's not a game that worries about any cultural faux pas. It's just rip-roaring fun, and technically a very, very good platformer. The moves are awesome, and they're upgradable, and there's a central hub that you go back to, and the discoveries excellent, and the boss fights, which I don't actually want to show or ruin, are huge. They're really huge. The bosses are just totally outlandish. You know, think almost Vanquish style size. You know, what's the word? Platinum. I think like platinum bosses on a side-scrolling platformer. But what appeals to me is it's got a very rich soundtrack. It's very true to its roots when it comes to the art style. It doesn't deviate at all. It's a very quick, high frame rate game. It's extremely smooth, and the combat's very in depth. Actually, you can actually grab or grapple someone and then throw them in a direction to another enemy, and you can sort of chain your attacks up. It's really cool, and the enemies have got a lot of variation. They're not just, you know, skeletons, etc. There's some really crazy shit going on in this game, and I thoroughly recommend it. Again, it is up there with Rayman Legends and Little Big Planet because of its craziness.
Mercenary Kings!
So, Mercenary Kings. Now, this is one of my first surprises on the list. Now, this is from Tribute Games. Tribute Games made that Scott Pilgrim game, and obviously this is a huge homage to the 8/16-bit era. And I want to say something here. I get a lot of comments on the channel about me including retro games, and I think it's probably a generational thing, because I absolutely love the way this game looks. I think it's a little bit like animation and filmmaking. I think this is a hand-drawn game, so these poor developers animated every single one of these pixels, you know, to give it that adorable sort of hand-drawn look, and they put it together bit by bit. And if you've been gaming for 25 years like me, you long for stuff like this still. I mean, this is the sort of game that I would have pumped so much money into an arcade to keep playing. And don't be put off by the small screen size. Again, we've got 4 players here. When you go for 2-player split screen, it sort of houses them in these smaller windows, but don't worry, it's perfectly doable. When you've got a huge TV show off like me, it's fine, and you've got your map on at the bottom there. I would recommend playing this 4-player, to be quite honest with you. I totally recommend playing this 1-player as well, because look at what we've got here. We've got a platform open world style sort of Zelda map where you've got a hub, but this game brings in crafting and upgrades and sort of collecting elements and making your armor better and bolting on all kinds of different things to your guns to make them better. And the character animations are just adorable. They're absolutely gorgeous. I wanted to put on the single player campaign so you can just get a look at what's going on with the animation. It's got this cute gore attached to it, and it's just so much fun, you know, navigating these maps. It's a little bit like Bionic Commando. I'm going to bill it as the thinking man's Broforce, which is a bit weird, but wow, Mercenary Kings was a huge surprise for me. I am playing it loads because I just want to see more of it, you know. I want to open up more stuff and see more levels and see more of this art and just interact with it, because it's totally awesome. I really recommend this. This this is a great couch co-op game, and of course it's 4-player, available on the PlayStation Network. Mercenary Kings. So my sort of favourite of this bunch, and again another surprise winner. So I was looking at Trine 2. I've been looking at Trine 2 for a while. I'm aware of Trine 1, but on the PlayStation Store at the moment, you've got all three of them on as one purchasable product. It's around $35, I think, but that is a massive steal. So what I did was I went straight to Trine 2, guiltily enough, and wow, I mean the visuals on this game, the fact that it's an indie game and not AAA, I was just like, whoa, you know, look at what's going on here with the light and the detail on stuff. And again, we've got a side-scrolling platform game here. This is one of the few non-4 players. This is 3 players, and it's a side-scrolling action adventure with a heavy emphasis on puzzle. And although I'm showing you some combat here, which is great, and the game does really well with drip feeding you combat, because I think if it was just all hack and slash and ranged combat, you know, and jumping around platforms, it wouldn't be as good. But you get the choice of 3 characters right up there in the top left, and you can switch them anytime you want. There's a wizard who has the ability to move objects around. There's the warrior who is obviously a melee expert, and of course the range attack lady who's got the winch, so she can traverse and get above stuff. The problems this game gives you, the puzzles it gets you to work out, are just awesome, and they're very the clues are very visual, and it's just, there's loads of satisfaction in. I'm not a big fan of puzzle games. I don't like using my brain at all, but this did it in a really clever way, and it sort of enticed me through. I wanted to see, you know, what potentially I could do with combining these different characters, and you can switch at any time. So you might get a character and get yourself up on a ledge, and then switch into the wizard, and then you've got more areas to drop this box, and it's just it sort of double folds and opens up more and more and more, and this is only Trine 2. We've got the next one coming up.
What's that? Whatever it was, I'm glad it went the other way. Look at the size of that thing. It's monstrous.
So then, after putting, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours into Trine 2, I was like, let's check out Trine 3, because I'm having a great time. Whoa, man, this upped up the ante again on the visuals. I couldn't believe it. And of course, it's a kind of asymmetric playing field, so it's not just a side scroller now. We can, like in Little Big Planet, we can move up and down towards the foreground and background, so it's not a 2D platformer by any stretch of the imagination. This blew my mind at how much fun this was, and just working out the puzzles with a friend, and how the difficulty is pitched just right. It blew my mind. I'm such a big Trine fan now after getting these games. I thank everyone for recommending them to me, and look at the detail on these environments, and the colours, and the vastness and difference in art styles between the levels is just mind-blowing, and of course the fun to be had. This one again doesn't push combat in your face, and trust me, that's a good thing, because you're having too much fun checking out these levels and looking at everything. I mean, you're a wizard on a beach, on a Caribbean beach. I mean, it's just so clever, the set pieces that they give to you, and the game has got such a loose rein in regards to what you can do, what you can move, where you can put stuff. The options for solving puzzles are not always singular. You know, you can if you just know how the game works and know how to utilize your tools, you have so much fun. Just being able to muck around in this game is really half the appeal for me, and playing around with the physics in the game itself is just hilarious, and you know, for to come from a not AAA studio and have this amount of depth in regards to how these physics work and play out is mind-blowing. So, you know, visually it's one of the best on the list. Yeah, it's not 4-player, but as a 2-player or 3-player couch co-op game, you're not going to go much, you can't go wrong with this. You're not going to find much better when it comes to a cool medieval magic, cool fantasy story set in a beautiful world with some great characters and stuff happening. The Trine series, easily the strongest on this list. Guys, get down there and enjoy yourselves. Thanks for watching.
Days spent fishing and nothing to show for it. What bad luck.